Well, we are officially 23 days away from the start of the 2022 NFL Draft as we welcome you inside the TCO studios for another edition of Pick 6 presented by KFAN. My name is Gabe Henderson, alongside voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen. My guy, Ron Johnson from Vikings Live is filling in for Tatum Everett today. And fellas, thank you for joining me today. When I put out the tweet earlier this week, the vibe and the responses were kind of similar. Everyone was talking about the cornerback position. What is the Vikings going to do with the 12th overall pick? And Vikings fans, we're going to get to that question, but before we get there, we start in typical Pick 6 fashion with pick number 1, the best thing we saw from Final Four weekend. PA, you're on the clock.
Well, the Final Four, it featured a couple of blue bloods, and I like that. I mean, being a 56-year-old who grew up watching Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins, James Worthy, Ray Ferentz and Danny Manning with Kansas. I mean, you get these blue bloods together, man. I absolutely loved it. Now, Remy Martin, who spoiled the North Carolina evening, what a great story, man. He fell apart 2 consecutive games. Coach lost faith in him. He had 4 3-pointers in the championship game. I like those redemption stories.
Yeah, you had to bring up Carolina at the end, right? Just because of just our
I went easy on you.
I get it, but
I mean, because I don't know if the audience knows how much you love that team, and I felt bad for you, man. And I wasn't texting you, not like you would have responded anyway. But I felt bad for you, man. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Ron, what was your favorite thing you saw?
Of course, Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird. Like the Bird and Taurasi show. Like this is the thing about it. For those who haven't seen it. They told the line. So it started out, so there goes the red cups. When the red solo cups came out, It got worse and worse and worse in a good way. Because Diana Taurasi kept talking about the Gamecocks' length and the length of the Gamecocks and how long the Gamecocks are. Well, eventually she dropped the game and just went with it.
Oh my God.
And then she said it was a game of inches. And then it got even worse. And so that was the best for me, just seeing that. The Peyton Manning brothers have a lot to live up to this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a game of 30 seconds. And I'm not going to make any comment on yours. I'm just going to say the best thing I saw from Final Four weekend was Carolina beating Duke in the Final Four semifinals. And I know we lost to Kansas last night, but our national championship honestly was beating Duke. And I got the utmost respect for Coach K and the legacy that he has given Duke University. But for him to be remembered for losing to Carolina at Cameron Indoor in his final game at home, and then losing in his final game as a head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, I can live with it. Like, we're still going to hang a banner up in the Dean Dome this year, no matter how you look at it.
You've been here 2 years?
I've been here 2 years.
Okay, well, see this now, because we've been here longer. He's from Detroit, I'm from D.C., he's from South Carolina way. This is like, well, we beat the Packers, so we've won our Super Bowl. No. That does not exist. You got to win the whole thing, man, to really experience it, you know?
I'm taking this moral victory, but I'm also giving it right back to you with pick number 2, coming from Levi, the sports guy, at Nordstrom Levi. He says, will Vikings consider a QB at 12 or trading down if both top cornerbacks are off the board at number 12?
Wow. That in sneaky fashion, that's a very cool question. Would they consider a quarterback at 12? I'd bet a lot of money. No. But that doesn't mean they won't consider a quarterback at any point of the draft. Now, when it comes, see the beauty here is everything is so new with the general manager. Ryan Grigson is drafted before, but not here. Kevin O'Connell's a first-year guy. Maybe he bangs his fist for one of those nice receivers at 12 because the Rams do like to go 4 wide. It's so unpredictable. I think corner for the first pick, but I mean, I wouldn't wager a lot of money on it.
I'm with you on that. Kirk Cousins, Sean Mannion, Kellen Mond, all 3 quarterbacks on the roster. I will be surprised if the purple pull a Packers move when it comes to this with the 12th overall pick. Ron, pick number 3. Coming from, you know him, the Sunday Center, Purple Pain 26. He says, if the top 2 corners are off the board, thoughts on trading back and drafting Andrew Booth Jr. Watch some of his tape. His play reminds me of Antoine Winfield Sr. Ooh.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of that. He went to Clemson, so of course I've seen the games. He is a hard hitter. He does come up and make big tackles. He's taller. He's 6 feet. Antoine's probably 5'7" on a good day. When you look at Andrew Booth Jr., some have him rated as the number 2 corner. So to say when the top 2 off the board, that takes him off the board. I'd say Derek Stingley drops down for the simple fact of the injury, some of the things. He might be there at 12. And I don't mind that pick when you look at the cornerbacks coaches from LSU, you look at Patrick Peterson from LSU. I say if you rewinded time and put Patrick Peterson with the former 2 picks, Cameron Dantzler and Gladney, I think their careers would turn out differently.
Antoine Winfield's the greatest overall corner in the history of this team. So just like when Harold Miner left USC, went to the NBA, they called him Baby Jordan. It didn't work. So, I mean, let's maybe start our comparisons with like Madu Williams or Tyrell Johnson and then advance to Antoine Winfield. Holy cow. Seriously.
Seriously, pick number 4 is a serious question for you because I know we're talking about the past, but let's talk about the present. Can Garrett Bradbury be unseated as starting center? This is coming from Kyle at Skull 9.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. And it's absolutely a possibility because, I mean, Dalvin Cook's going to be the first running back, Cousins the first quarterback, Jefferson, Thielen. I mean, you got some spots where you know guys are going to be. Is Bradbury one of those positions? I don't believe so, but I believe he will start at that position. You have the Schlottman bit, who came here from Denver, not a lot of experience, position flexibility. But in closing with Garrett, he does so many good things with his game that do not get recognized. He's undersized. He gets pushed back. But when you get out there in the zone running game and out there in the screens, go ahead and watch Garrett and what he does. Very fast, very smart. So, but no, he can be beat.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting offseason for him. This is a contract year for him. So he knows if he doesn't put his play out there on the field, his future may not be in Minnesota. So I'm excited for his future, and I'm excited to get to question number 5. Pick number 5 for you, Ron Johnson, is coming from Christopher James. He says, would it be better off for the Vikings to be like the Rams and sell pick number 12 and get a top-tier cornerback in return?
No, they don't have any money. You got $12.043 million in salary cap space.
Dude,
a top-tier corner, yeah, I would take it. I would take one. a top-tier corner is not gonna. You're not gonna have room for that unless he's willing to come in for the cheap because he wants to play opposite Patrick Peterson and they want to, be one of the top duos in the NFL as far as corners go. And then you have Harrison Smith on the back end. You got Cam Bynum. I just don't see it happening. It's not worth it at that point. The goal is to lower the cap number, which is draft a guy. You can groom him like Xavier Rhodes for the next 2 years, and then hopefully he comes into his own. Some guys you've talked about, Kyer Elam. You look at Tyreek Woolen, you look at Roger McCrary, Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska is another one that's not going to be a top first round, but could be a second, third round kid from Nebraska. Strong, good. So there's a lot of corners out there. I don't think you need to sell off the farm just to go get one for this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are talking about that Jalen Ramsey trade that they did with the Jaguars a couple of years ago. It gave away 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder. So we'll see. Like we always say, in Rob Brzezinski we trust. So we'll see how all that shakes out.
But it plays back to the fact that Kwesi's new. And the whole thing is new, man. I mean, this could go 12-4. I ain't kidding you. It could go trade back, which we've seen. I mean, this whole thing is new. It's fascinating.
Well, what's new and what's next is pick number 6. And pick number 6 comes from Ben. He says, what do we consider successful results for the O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah era with the Vikings? And how soon do we see those results? PA, we'll start with you, 30 seconds.
It's an unfair question at this part of the equation, and I'm not being mean-spirited here. But again, everything is new. I can't say it anymore. New general manager, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. We haven't run a 3-4 as a base in 40 years. The head coach is new. You got a bunch of new players coming in here and the draft. But since the question was posed, I think a winning equation for the first season with these guys is the fans actually displaying patience and recognizing when things are new, they may not click as quickly as you want. You love the team, be patient. But that all said, man, 12-5.
Right, your turn.
I say success has to be 10 wins. We've seen the single-digit wins from before, so at least 10 wins is successful. But I think the key for success is the team. How do they gel together? Is this new collaboration going to work? Are the players going to respect a coach that, is kind of like a friend? They feel like they can talk to him, walk into his office anytime. Does that work? Does he, do the off-the-field issues, do we not have those now? Because guys, and we didn't have them before, but do they still have that? I'm scared of my, what's going to happen if I make a mistake off the field. There's a lot that goes into success, but at the end of the day, the pieces were there offensively. Defensively, that 3-4 has to get better, and that's the key. Get out of that basement where Zimmer used to be at the top. You got to get back there.
Man, Kwesi's a cool cat.
Yeah,
Just watch him walk and he's just he's got some Captain Cool to him.
Well, Pierre, you said 12 wins. Ryan, you said 10 wins. I define success for the Minnesota Vikings as getting in the playoffs. Of course, last year we've been right on the cuff of trying to get over that hump. We haven't got there. The fact that we have a new head coach that has Super Bowl experience, Super Bowl winning experience, and then you mix in that with some of these coaching staff, some guys on the coaching staff with their experience, and you say, okay, we're right there. The word competitive rebuild has been used all offseason. And when you look at what the moves are starting to be made, you say, okay, this Vikings team is putting the money where their mouth is. Hey, let's get in the playoffs. Let that be the standard. And then after that, let the chips fall where they may be. So we'll see. Hopefully that ends up with this Vikings team holding the Lombardi trophy, but I'm not going to speak too soon. I think that is further down the road, but we're building steps to get there.
Rams got the Super Bowl, as we just saw. How much do you love the Cincinnati Bengals for the moral victory over the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, they showed they could do it like those heels. Go Bengals.
Well, it's a moral victory today because we all wish Tatum was here, but she'll be here next time. So Vikings fans, feel free to tweet at her, at Tatum Everett, or me, at Gabe A. Henderson, for your questions for the next Pick Six show. We did not get to every question today, so make sure you tune in to the Minnesota Vikings podcast this week because we got more questions that will be answered right there on the show, me and PA. For Ron Johnson, PA, my name is Gabe Henderson. Thank you again for tuning into another edition of Pick Six presented by KFAN.